Millionaires are made. Today we have an awesome episode for you. If you have not seen Millionaires are made, it is a show where we believe you can grow to become a millionaire in all six aspects of health. That's right. It's not just about your bank account, although financial health is a big aspect of health, but we also do shows in your mental health, your social health, your spiritual health, your intellectual health. And today we're focusing in on your physical health, and the topic is your gut health. How to improve your physical health with your gut health. If you've never seen Millionaires Are Made, this is the show built on the fundamental belief that every person you meet knows something you don't, and there's something to be learned from everyone in this big, beautiful world. In the spirit of authenticity and to try to remove as much bias or persuasion as possible, we do not talk about tips or advice or life journeys with our guests before the show. And typically, I don't even know who is scheduled to be on the show until they arrive in the green room before the show starts. We don't talk about anything that's going on related to the topic. We just focus on what needs to be done to make the show go off without a hitch. So, what you're about to hear is going to be their advice, their tips from their own life and their own journey, and it's going to be amazing. Audience, this is an engaging show. Your questions get asked live on air, so please comment and ask them. We will repeat them live and put our guests on the spot. So if you have any questions about gut health or physical health, now is the time. Also, we love our followers just like everyone else in this world, but we like to shout them out. So I'm going to take a couple of seconds to shout out Jasmine Soto on Facebook. Thanks for following us. Maybe you should follow us and you can get a shout out. Joe Honan on Instagram. Good old Joe. All right. Marina Temnikova on TikTok and Kim Green on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for following our show. We love it and we love you. Yeah, that's true. If you want to be a guest on this show, man, I would love to have that because I already know that you have some sort of advice that you could share with the world, and I would love to help you get that out. Please sign up. Our link's being dropped right now in the comments. Millionairesaremade.com. Go check us out. Sign up to be a guest. Get on our show and spread your knowledge so the world can grow. I did rhyme that on purpose. But on another note, if you're going through life in a little bit of a struggle, maybe a recent love flame has fizzled out and you're wondering how to get through it, shoot us a topic. Shoot us an idea. We will go out and find 3 awesome guests, put a show together, and have 3 awesome tips to help you get through that struggle, that little road bump in life, and hopefully keep growing into who you are meant to be. And if you like what we do, giving knowledge to the entire world so we can grow, make sure you help support. Send stars, share, like, subscribe, whatever channel you're on. Give us some love on social media. And if you really like what we do, I go a step above and beyond and offer free growth consultations. So if you are curious about ways that you may be able to grow that you haven't thought of, sign up below. That link's being dropped right now and get a one-on-one with me. Would love to talk to you and chat about life. And our last little order of business is our sponsors, those that let this show grow even more. First up, we've got Island Trail Adventures with Gali Prat. Island Trail Adventures offers guided hikes through scenic Caribbean trails, blending stunning landscapes, rich history, and nature for an unforgettable journey. And if you are a hiker and you like the most beautiful region on the planet, the Caribbean, check them out right now. Their link's being dropped. Next up, we are sponsored by Ross Alexander, super smart guy, coach, former athlete, and now takes his time to inspire others through public speaking, sharing strategies for coping, achieving goals, and finding your purpose in life. And we also have Rachel Greenwell. She helps people own their worth, their power, their potential, aligning their spiritual purpose to make a positive impact in the world. Super brilliant woman. Check her out right now. And our last sponsor for this episode is Josh Perry. What a resilient leader, inspiring others to overcome challenges with determination, guiding them to reach their full potential and achieve greatness. Connect with him now, please. And we've got all the admin stuff out of the way so the fun can begin. We are going to bring our first guest up. First guest is named Divya. Divya, who are you?
All right. So thank you so much for having me on the show today, Austin. And
Oh,
I
it was our
am,
pleasure.
yeah. And so I am, so my name is Divya Dhawan, and I am a functional health practitioner, which means that I use functional labs and get to the root cause of why, the symptoms are happening for my clients and help them achieve the best health that they can dream of. Using all this along with my coaching, diet, and lifestyle and supplementation. Uh, First, finding out what problem they're having, what symptoms they're having, and what are the root causes for them, and we go from there. So that is what I do, and yeah, gut health is very close to my heart.
Oh, gut health close to your heart, physically and maybe figuratively. Divya, I've
Yeah,
got a very important question for you. If I
yeah.
wanted to improve my physical health with my gut health, what tiny piece of advice would you give me?
Yeah, sure. So recent studies and researchers have found that the more diversity we have in our gut, the more better our gut health starts becoming. So, which means that the food that we eat needs to be diverse, which means that you cannot the idea of eliminating all foods is not good. We, in fact, need to have a whole bunch of diversity in our food, whether it's fruits or vegetables, or it is even protein, which comes mostly from animal food. And I said mostly because there are some sources of plant protein as well. They are not completely protein, but still protein is present. So if we give our body a good quality protein, which every cell in the body needs, every hormone in the body needs, every enzyme in the body needs, and every chemical reaction in the body needs protein. So if we give our body good quality protein as well as good diversified fiber, which means that you have a lot of non-starchy vegetables and fruits and green leafy vegetables and include all colors, that is the key to improving your gut health over a period of time.
So, eating the same thing every day, is that bad?
It can be good in the short term if you're trying to improve your gut health from like a problem which is probably something like SIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. So it can help in situations like those, but in the long term it will not be a good strategy, because then you will reduce the diversity of your good bugs inside your gut, and that will cause more problems in the future than instead of improving the gut health, it will actually deteriorate it.
Interesting. Okay. All right.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I guess a question. You live on an island and fish is really apparent.
Mhm.
Is it okay to just only eat fish for your protein source for 20 years? Or are you saying they need to get some chicken or some cows in and mix it up a bit?
Mix it up a bit, because the
Okay.
amino acid profile of every protein is different. So
Right.
although fish is not bad and local food is always the best, but try to diversify at least once or twice a week with other sources of
All right.
protein as well. Yeah.
Where on your life journey did you learn that information?
Oh, that's very interesting. So about 11 years ago, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune condition which is called Sjogren's syndrome. And I got the very typical answers that everyone who has autoimmune gets, that there's no cure, we cannot help you, and we cannot really help this go away for you. We can only manage your symptoms. And I was in a very bad shape at that time when I was diagnosed. I was completely debilitated. I could not move. I could not open my, if I open my fist, I could not close it easily, and opening
Wow.
itself was a problem. So I was in that kind of shape, and that state in my life where I was completely dependent on my family, and then someone telling me, or the doctor telling me that I cannot do anything about it and I have to live like that for my whole life. I was not going to do that. That was not for me. So I started doing my own research, and I come from India. So we have a very ancient medical system there, which is called Ayurveda. And I turned to Ayurveda because I know that it works. It worked for my mom. She used to have RA, very bad, in which her fingers also got disfigured. But she used Ayurveda treatment for herself, and her fingers actually got back to shape. So I knew that Ayurveda will work. So I started looking into Ayurveda, and I found that um, the only reason for every disease in the body is gut, according to the Ayurveda. And so that's
Interesting.
where my whole journey of looking into gut health and looking into overall health started, where I was like, I need to do something to, help my gut, because this is from where the problems are coming. So that's how it all started.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Divya. We are going to move on to our next guest. Thank you for your
Thank
insightfulness.
you. Yeah,
Next up,
absolutely.
we've got. Thank you. Next up, we've got Dr. Elizabeth.
Hello.
Elizabeth, who are you?
Well, I'm Dr. Elizabeth Davidson. So I'm a holistic doctor, I'm a health revolutionary, and a trainer of foundational health coaches. And I love solving people's health problems, and I love training other people to solve them at deeper levels.
All right. So, how many people lately have eaten an entire cake in 30 minutes you've had to deal with?
Well, you're the first one I've met today, so
Today.
congratulations.
Today. Awesome. All right, Dr. Elizabeth, I've got a very important question for you.
Yes.
If I wanted to improve my physical health with my gut health, what piece of advice would you give me?
Well, if you have ever consumed alcohol or antibiotics or been a regular consumer of junk foods, then you need a gut reset because your gut flora is not ideal. And probiotics alone don't do it. You got to kind of clear out all the junky stuff first and then repopulate.
And you said if you've ever drank alcohol, you need to do this.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
often should you do a gut reset?
It really depends on like your history. So if you've had antibiotics, if you are an alcohol drinker, if you consumed if you consume junk food or high amounts of sugar, then
I
definitely
was
need
just gonna say that.
to do them more often. If you eat entire cakes, you should do one like right now.
Does it count if you eat an entire cake and you don't eat for like 4 days?
It counts because so would you consider a cake junk food?
Yeah, definitely. But I also didn't eat for like 4 days after, and my gut health was trashed.
Yeah, so all that sugar and flour and whatever other crap is in there, artificial colors, who knows? All of that is going to feed bacteria that's not ideal for your gut health. And so those are going to get stronger, and you don't want that. You want the good stuff in there.
All right. When we bring out the round robin, we'll go over gut resets and come
Okay.
back to this. But first, let's ask you, where on your life journey did you learn this piece of advice?
So I had autoimmune symptoms from the time I was really small, like 4. And many of the treatments I got were antibiotics related. And so I took them a lot when I was a kid. And I realized when I was 10 that every time I took them or any other medication, I got sicker. My symptoms got worse. So
Okay.
that was my first inkling. And then through the next like 35 years of figuring things out, I've come to the conclusion that there are 5 things that you really need for your health foundation to be strong, and
Okay.
gut health is one of them.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, I'm going to learn a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Elizabeth, we're going to move on to our next guest. We'll bring you back out on the round robin. Thank you so much for joining us today. Next up, we've got Amanda. Amanda, are you with us?
Yes,
All right. Amanda, who are you?
I am Amanda.
Great.
I am super motivated and determined to share with people ways that they can heal from the inside out.
Okay.
I'm a substitute teacher, and I have chickens.
I like helping people heal inside out. I got chickens all within almost the same sentence. I like it. All right,
Yep.
Amanda. Amanda, if I wanted to improve my physical health through my gut health, what tiny piece of advice would you give me?
I think the biggest factor is knowing that that cake you ate definitely didn't help. That would be a starter. That would be a starter. And another piece of it would be, a lot of the world has a misconception and a general assumption that if you just eat clean, you'll lose the weight or you'll manage your cortisol levels, and that's just simply not true. A carrot is
Ooh.
no longer a carrot anymore because our soil is lacking the nutrients and vitamins that it once
Ooh.
had. And a big part of that for me was being able to supplement out and get those minerals in another way so that my body could function and my gut could function in the way that it's supposed to.
Very enlightening. All right.
So really just supplementing. Yep.
And that's by taking actual supplements?
Yes. I actually take a supplement now that it's sourced in the United States, and it has the vitamins and nutrients that our soil today is lacking. So, it used to be that you could just make a diet change and, see a pretty big difference. And that's just simply not the case anymore. So I take a soft detox every day. It's not to the point where you're going to be hugging the toilet. Well, you might be hugging the toilet because of the cake that you ate. But normally,
I think I'm feeling much better now.
It's just an easy, clean. I bet you are. So, yeah.
Amanda, where
It's
on
really
your life
just,
journey?
sorry.
Finish your thought.
I think it's really understanding that like your head, your heart, and your hands are all connected. And a lot of that is like your head, your heart, and your gut are all connected, and everything is impacted by your gut health.
Yep.
And really, I just learned this back in April. So I met with like a world-known frequency doctor, and he was just saying, there are a lot of, autoimmune diseases and chronic illnesses and all kinds of bacteria that, did not used to be a part of our everyday lives. I mean, and, learning from him in April, and I had tons of IBS issues, gut issues. I mean, not to get too personal or gross, but like I had to be really mindful. Like if I was going to go on a date, I had to be really mindful what I ate, because what I ate was in turn going to, basically determine the rest of my day or my night or whatever it might be. So for me, it was like a super self-conscious thing. Like I was probably going to starve myself. And recovering from an eating disorder, like, there's tons of men and women that just think that they just don't eat. And that's just it's not the way to go.
Not the way to go. Awesome. All right. Well, are you ready to bring everyone else out and let's do a little round robin?
Yep.
Let's do it. Let's bring Divya out and Dr. Elizabeth. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
So let's go ahead and start with that whole gut reset thing. Anyone want to talk about that?
Always.
Always. I'm a big fan of resetting guts. My favorite hobby. All right. How does one reset their gut immediately?
Well, it doesn't happen immediately. You gotta put a little effort into it.
I was hoping I could slide that in and you wouldn't notice.
Oh, I notice. So I have tried lots of methods, and the best method I've found is actually a set of supplements that I use. It's not something that you take forever, but there's two that you take, well, actually 3 that you take for the clear out of the gut, which isn't a gross thing. Like Amanda mentioned, you're not like you're not having to go to the bathroom all the time. You don't really have to change anything. The only thing I recommend is that you don't drink alcohol while you do it. But so you
Great
take that,
idea.
that's a 40-day part, and then you do the reset,
40.
which is yes. And then you add the good stuff back in. So that first 40 days is getting the junk out. And then the next 30 days is adding good stuff back in. And you're getting attacked, it looks like. I hope you're okay.
Yeah, there's a like yellow jacket running around here. God damn. All right. So 40
So-
days. What do you have a link to the product or whatever we're supposed to do for 40 days?
Well, it's actually 70 days total because the 40 days is the getting the junk out and the 30 days is putting the good stuff back in.
Man, I'm never eating cake again. God damn. All right. Do you have like a little 70? So what? So all you do for 40 days, you're inputting something, right? You're taking like
so
a pill.
You take 2 capsules in the morning and 2 in the evening for 40 days. And then the next 30 days is you take 2 in the morning with like a green drink. That's the prebiotic that feeds the good bacteria that you're introducing. So it's
Okay.
pretty simple. I mean, it's the simplest thing I've found. You don't have to do like a cleanse and a detox and like only drink juice for a month. You know, you can still eat your pretty normal diet, just please without alcohol or antibiotics. So
Yeah, that was the
Okay.
Not
easy
the whole
thing.
cake.
Or a
Yeah.
whole cake. Yeah. Thanks,
Yeah.
Amanda. Thanks. Divya, tell me your thoughts.
Well, the way I do it is I actually test the gut health. So I use a PCR sort of test to test what bugs are there in the gut. The different markers that we go for, we also go for looking at whether people have leaky gut or not, whether they're digesting protein good or not, how is the liver function happening, because liver is an important part of the gut, also the whole digestive system. So the way I like to do it is I like to test the gut and see what is going wrong in there, and then start mending that with different supplements depending on what the person needs. And diet and lifestyle. Diet and lifestyle is the first thing we do, and then comes the supplement, of course. And
And
as
then
you know,
comes the supplements.
yeah. So, sorry, say that again.
I was just repeating you. Trying to figure out. Apparently that. So okay, next question.
Mm-hmm.
How often should one reset their gut?
I think every season.
Like 4 times a year?
Yeah, according to Ayurveda, you should be doing it every four times a year,
Oh my.
because every time the season changes, the body is trying to recalibrate, and so giving it a reset is a good idea. But it
And
doesn't have to be a very hard reset. It could be just giving up your alcohol, giving up your sugar, and just going. Um, just going on fruits and vegetables, so that you give the body that fiber that it needs, and it starts eliminating properly, and that itself is really good for the body.
all right. So every season, give up alcohol and sugar. That's
Mhm.
advice we can definitely go on. Amanda,
Mhm.
how often should we reset our gut?
How do I think we should reset the gut?
Yes.
Um, with just a soft detox, but part of that, to piggyback off of what they've said too, cutting out alcohol. If like you're a regular social drinker or you're a regular drinker, giving your body, at least 5 days to not drink any alcohol, or in your case, not eat the cake. Sugar. I've had multiple conversations that a lot of people will tell you that sugar is fine, cool, but eliminating the sugar and increasing the water intake, part of that is getting the toxins out, though, because if the toxins are just lingering around, then you're really just on like that vicious cycle. So for me, my soft daily detox is what's worked for me, and is working for me, because you have people that are like, okay, let's do a 3-day colon cleanse. And it's like, okay, and how vicious is that? Like, that sounds like super aggressive. I know people that, It doesn't have to be that hard. You need to obviously restrain yourself and control some of those cravings, but it shouldn't be a matter of you can't leave your house for a week.
Yeah, I don't want to leave for a week, but I definitely need it. All right, we've got a question from the audience we're going to ask here. Can intermittent fasting impact gut health?
I think it really depends on what you're eating and how your gut health was when you started fasting. I don't think
Okay.
just the fact of intermittent fasting is going to really shift your gut health that much. It depends on where you started and what you're putting in.
I do think it does help a little bit at least, because it does help the body to go into autophagy when you are in that fasting period. It might not be the best solution for the gut health, but it might help a little bit. What do you say, Elizabeth?
Maybe. I think it really depends on where you're starting. And like you said, checking that baseline. Like it sounds like you do some functional blood work analysis and stuff, like I do as well. And checking that baseline of gut health and liver health and all of those things. Knowing where you start is good.
Yeah.
All right, let's change it from intermittent fasting to like my buddy who is currently on like a 40-day fast. He's nuts. But how is that going to affect his gut health? Shout out Ben. Pay attention right now, Ben.
I think that also again is how the baseline is. If the baseline is good, it will help improve the health further. But if the baseline is not good and you need certain things to support your gut health already and you're doing that, it might not be a very good idea. It might disrupt the hormones, because that is, the gut is where the hormones are produced. So depending on where you are at in terms of your gut health, we'll get the results basically.
Yeah, I agree. And it depends on what he's consuming during that fast. Also, like if it's just water or, because some fasts are different. It depends.
Yeah, I think he just started doing some supplements just to make sure that he doesn't die. But he's done like 2 or 3 30-day fasts. And I think he just eats like maybe a spoonful of honey a week. Blows my mind.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't even do a 5-hour fast with just a spoonful of honey. All right. Any last things you guys want to add before we move on to our daily challenge?
Any other thing about gut health?
About gut health. I mean, I guess if you have random advice you want to go, we can talk about that too.
No. I was only sorry. No, I was just going to say that I think all the things that all of us said, adding a lot of water is important because water flushes out the toxins, and having a lot of fiber. Yeah, I see that bottle of yours. Having a lot of fiber in your food, diversified fiber, good quality protein. All of that is important to improve gut health. And of course, removing the alcohol and the sugars.
I have another question now. So the 3 macros that everyone measures is what? Protein, carbs, and fat. Can you guys get behind a revolution that we change carbs to just specifically fiber?
Yeah, I mean, even vegetables are carbs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you switch from, and the other thing that is very important is to, at least beginning of your gut health journey, remove gluten, because gluten has a lot of pesticides in it that can harm the gut health. So that will be a very kind of pivotal, I have seen it with my clients, very pivotal to actually shift the gut health and make it better. It improves the health of the gut in terms of like the leaky gut improving and all. So that is something very important. And then can you remind me a question once again? I think I got lost in the gluten.
I just think that we should switch. We should make fiber a macro. I think it's that important.
Yes. So switching from pasta, bread, all those kind of things to like vegetables, like even starchy vegetables are good for us. So all of that helps the body to actually get more diversity in terms of the fiber, and that helps the microbiome to grow and help our gut health to improve. Because basically we don't do anything for our gut health. It is our microbes which help our the gut lining, which has the mucus lining, all of it. So it's important to have a good diversity in there.
All right. It is time in the show that we have to come up with a daily challenge. This is a task to improve your physical health with gut health that takes less than 5 minutes a day, costs $0, and is available to anyone in the world from the Congo to Siam. Any thoughts?
Sure. Stop drinking alcohol and eating sugar for a week, and really notice how you feel. Like, notice how your gut feels, yes, but also how your body feels, and also how your mind feels and your emotions, because gut health doesn't only affect your physical body, it affects everything else. So I've helped people solve anxiety and depression by fixing their gut health. So
I
it
mean,
affects,
having them quit alcohol will solve a lot of that right there, too.
and not only is it free, it saves them money.
Oh, negative. I like that. All right.
So, like,
Does that, Elizabeth, does that mean that you're sober?
yeah, of course.
Yeah, you've brought up no alcohol a lot. How long are you sober?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, I just had my 3 years like a month ago.
Congratulations,
Month and
that's
a half ago.
awesome. I've never been really much of a drinker, so
Yeah,
Okay.
it's the same for me. Yeah. I've never kind of loved alcohol. I was a little bit of a social drinker, but I've just quit because of the bad that it does to the body and the load that it gives the liver. Giving up alcohol is a really good thing.
mhm.
Makes sense. All right, now the next thing we got to kill, the next epidemic in America is sugar. And I think eating the cake is actually going to make my life so much better. It was 4 days of hell, but I can't look at sugar. I can't think about sugar. It's going to be good. I think it helped with that. All right. Okay, let's do this daily challenge. So we could say don't drink alcohol, or don't eat sugar. Let's try to make it more of something that we can do. I mean, it'd be interesting to see if you could calculate how much sugar you actually consume throughout the day.
Hmm. Yeah, and
Or
sugar is.
what if we make it so like everything you eat you have to like just to force people to read nutrition labels, like, you know,
Oh man.
throughout the day, you have to know how much sugar is in 5 things you consume. Something like that would be a pretty decent challenge, I think, for basic people. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, yeah, that's a very basic place to start with. And there's an app called Trash Panda where you can look up all the bad ingredients, including the sugar, in and you just scan the barcode with your phone, and it will tell you all the bad ingredients. I think that's a very good place to start to know what you're eating and putting in your body, including sugar.
What is that called?
Trash Panda.
Trash Pan. It's an app.
It's an app. Yes.
Okay, cool.
And I think an important part too is to really monitor how you're feeling. So write down on that first day how your body feels, how your mind feels, how your emotions feel. And after a week, like, be honest with yourself and see how you feel. Because
Yeah,
it's hard, I think, to notice the day-to-day difference if you're just living it. But if you write it down and make a record of it,
Yeah, okay.
you can really see the difference. So I think that would be my challenge part, is to pay attention.
Yeah, so have a food journal in which you can write what you ate and how you feel, right?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. So the goal, so I mean, I'm trying to think about, even for me, but I cook all my own stuff. So, but I mean, there's definitely like times I'll drink something somewhere. So I think that we could probably say there's at least 5 things out there that you could analyze what the sugar content is. Then at the end of the day, you calculate how much sugar and you write how you feel about that. How does that sound for you?
Sure.
Yeah, sounds great.
So we got to find 5 things and write down the sugar content of it every day. There's at least 5 things you have that have a little bit of sugar. I mean, it's America. Everything's got freaking sugar.
Even ketchup has sugar, so.
That's something I didn't realize. And I have a buddy that like it loves French fries. It's like everywhere we go, he gets French fries and never gets ketchup. So I'm like, dude, how the hell do you eat these? And he's like, there's too much sugar. And when I finally looked at it, I just realized like 6 months ago, I was like, oh my god, there's a lot of sugar in ketchup.
Yeah, and that's another key when reading labels is recognizing all the names for sugar, like high fructose corn syrup and
Sucrose,
various
fructose, yeah.
yeah, and then all
Dextrose.
artificial sweeteners. Because artificial sweeteners, like, don't replace sugar with artificial sweeteners because they generally break down into brain toxins. So, like,
So give us examples.
for instance, aspartame, which is one of the most common artificial sweeteners,
Oh, yeah.
it breaks down into wood alcohol and formaldehyde and aspartic acid, which all on their own are deadly. So
when it says like diet or sugar free, you actually don't want that if you're gonna.
you don't want that. It's better to consume just real cane sugar than the artificial sweeteners, and those
And then
all have some sort of gut disruptor to all the artificial sweeteners. They are not better. So be really careful. I'll be interested to see what people discover while reading labels. And look at
I think that it's gonna be a good move.
Like, if there's more than 5 ingredients in something, you probably shouldn't be eating it.
But it tastes so good. Man, the cake I had like 6,000 ingredients. That was so.
I'm sure it did.
I don't even like cake. I don't like desserts or cake, and that was a terrible experience in my life.
One important thing to look out for too is enriched flour.
Okay.
Enriched flour
Thinking about.
is sprayed with folic acid, and folic acid in that form is impossible to digest, so it really messes up your gut health. So anything with enriched flour, like if you're going to eat gluten, okay, but be very careful about what kind of flour you're consuming. Enriched flour, bad, bad, bad.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, I think we've got our daily challenge. We're gonna find 5 things that you ate throughout the day, calculate how much sugar it is, and then food journal how you feel at night.
Okay.
Sound like a plan? And if you don't eat 5 labels, if you only eat vegetables that day, then I guess you get off lucky and you don't have to do all 5. You can just journal even more about how you feel. All right, awesome. Well, Divya, Elizabeth, thank you guys so much for coming out. It was a pleasure having you. We learned a lot. I'm going to wrap up the show real quick. And thank you, audience, for watching another episode of Millionaires Are Made. We learned about physical health and your gut health. Hopefully, you learned a little bit about how to improve your gut health. And our daily challenge is going to be to, throughout the day, take a picture or memorize 5 different labels that you see and consume. And at the end of the day, calculate how much sugar you think you've had and then write down your thoughts and feelings about that. And I will start today.